classically, athletes have been put on pedestals since before we even have an official history of sports. You go all the way back to the earliest records of mythologies, and great kings had to demonstrate their kingship by performing great athletic feats. So it remains the same that today we still create kind of a heroism around the athlete who can create an elite performance.
I think that Americans put him on a pedestal because it's something that we all can relate to, or we can all dream of, right? So we all grow up and we're in youth leagues and all that kind of stuff, playing t-ball, baseball, or basketball when we're little kids, and you know we can all relate to that experience. So then, watching the people that are best in the world at it, it's just something that is so cool for us to spectate.
Since they're everywhere, since they're you watch them on TV and you see them doing like these feats that you can't do, I guess, for athletes, or you can't do nearly as well, and you sort of get caught up, especially in like days of social media. You like follow what athletes do, what celebrities do, and I guess that makes you feel more close to them.
The stuff of tragedy and tragic narrative is somebody who overreaches, somebody who has a fatal flaw that makes them fall. And we identify with that flaw because we all have flaws, and we identify with the fall because we recognize that if we were in that position, we might too have that fatal flaw or some other fatal flaw that would lead us to fall. So it creates powerful stories, and that's one reason why we seek out these stories, and one reason why the stories sell. And if a story sells, newspapers are going to pick it up.
It's just a complete disappointment because it's when you invest your time, so much time in somebody. Like if you invest so much time in your younger brother and raising him and all that kind of stuff, and spending so much time so much of your personal time that you could be spending on other things, and then when they disappoint you, it's a bummer. So when athletes, you spend so much time just following them, just studying their stats, doing this or that, and then when they do something tragic like that, it's a massive disappointment.
If you do a forensic observation of everybody's life, you will find something to magnify that's negative. I'm not saying these people shouldn't be held accountable for their actions. I'm just saying you don't magnify the one thing that will make this person look bad and disregard the other things that he does that are good. That's just my thought.
I think it's just such a big deal because we've made them into such a big deal because they're athletes, because we've idolized them. So it's just like any other normal person making a mistake or screwing up, fucking up, or whatever. But we just care about it a lot more.
And I think it's mostly blown way out of proportion because they're just like us. So I think it's mostly the media that just goes over.
When you're in the public eye, you automatically become a role model. Because you are automatically in the public's eye, you got to be super careful. You may not know that somebody's watching you, but somebody's always watching you.
Athletes, agents, and journalists as well have to recognize that this is a public news cycle that is ongoing and constant. And at the same time, especially athletes and their agents have to recognize that they no longer are afforded any kind of private space. Athletes anything an athlete does, even in absolute privacy, if there is someone with a cell phone there, it's public space. And everyone has a cell phone. So there is no private space for athletes anymore, and if you want to protect your brand, you should recognize that.